Well, hi there. Welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Erin.
I'm Candice.
And I'm Rikki.
Ladies, I am so pumped for today's guest. Are you?
Yes.
I don't even need to ask you. Because I know you are. I know Candice is the one who is like,
You know, I'm the meeting goer. So like whenever I can get like really, really great, I'm not going to spoil it, coaches and things, I get so excited.
well, if this is your first time joining us for Real WW Talk, you have come at a perfect time because this month we are going through a series that we call Real WW Talk Plus, where we are inviting other members of WW or health and fitness coaches to join us to talk about things that are out of our league. You've been hearing us, or if you're brand new to us, well, you can go back and listen to past episodes and hear us yap all you want about the things we know about. But this is also education opportunity for us to be able to grow and to learn from others who have different experiences, either on their WW journey or on a health journey that we all can learn from. And so today's coach, let me read you a little bit. This is Coach Andrea from WW. A little bit about her. She says her Weight Watcher journey started when her youngest was a baby, and the diet trends were not keeping the weight she gained after having a baby, after getting married off. And she knew about WW because of her mom. So she lost 80 pounds in 1 year, determined to shrink her 5'10" frame down to be like the other girls, including her other sisters. I feel that at 6 feet. Andrea says that I was going to fix everyone that called me big boned, tomboy, and fat. I get it. And she did it. But then she stopped doing WW. She gained 90 pounds back, and deprivation was not working the second time around like it did the first time. So she walked through the Weight Watchers store one more time, and this time with compassion. She just wanted to be herself and learn who she was, not what society was saying that she needed to be, which then started her journey to understanding herself, respecting her body, loving her body, and loving herself. And she's really become known as the self-compassion coach in leading the self-compassion workshops. We're just excited to welcome Coach Andrea to Real WW Talk.
Yay! Oh my gosh, ladies, thank you. Erin, Rikki, Candice, I am so delighted to be here. I like that, the self-compassion coach.
Okay. Look, we're going to get you a little thing to hold, a little tassel or something.
That's a lot to live up to, the self-compassion coach, right?
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about the journey? Because in order to start with self-compassion, you have to actually come from a place where you don't have that for yourself. Do you remember a defining moment where you went, I got to stop this?
Yep. Oh yeah. And I'm telling you, and I'm hoping too, I bet you, as we talk through this, I think we all have a defining moment if we picture it, if we take ourselves there, if we allow ourselves to go back to the weird pain moment. But yes, I was literally, I was, playing with my neighborhood friends, and we climbed trees, rode bikes, and we were wrestling in my front yard. And I was in middle school, and I remember we were WWF fans. So we were doing the whole tag team in the lawn, doing the whole thing. I was the only girl. I grew up with boys. My two older sisters were doing their thing. And I remember my dad came outside and he said, I need to talk to you. And he said, you're not allowed to play with them like that anymore. Mm-hmm. And from that moment, what's wrong with me? Mm-hmm. Why? I didn't know. Of course I know where my dad's coming from. I'm a young girl. These are boys. Yeah. Okay. But that kind of started it. This is what started me paying attention. Mm-hmm. So then you're paying attention. You're a young kid. Why can't I play with my friends? We're having fun. We love wrestling. Then the comparisons start. I'm much bigger than my sisters. I'm the youngest of three. You're a big girl. Which all they're doing. I never compared myself to my sisters until my family compared me to my sisters. Mm. My sisters never even compared me to them. My sisters just love me for being Andrea, but it was like they needed an excuse to why I was the frame I am, why I wear basketball shorts and Yankees jerseys, why I want to shop in the men's department and wear the Nike, the Nike high tops. Why? Because why wouldn't you? That's cool. It's 80s and 90s. Like, what? That's awesome. But it was different than them.
Mm-hmm.
They're the girls, they're the honor roll, they're the boyfriends. I wasn't that. So that's when the paying attention started to, I'm different. And when you're young and you're going through it and you're different, we feel that's not okay because society wants us in a box. Society wants girls this way and boys this way.
And so oh my gosh, Andrea, I so much relate to that because so you grew up in the 80s and the 90s. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, 6 feet tall. My whole neighborhood was boys. I have all brothers and we were the big kid. I was the big girl.
Yep.
And clothes in the store, they didn't make clothes for me as a child. And so I either had to wear boy clothing or I was stuck with Donna Karan. And no offense to anybody who still wears Donna Karan from Hex or Macy's or whatever it is. But
my gosh, you said Hex. I remember Hex.
I did.
Erin, why wouldn't you? You go in the boys department and there's a length.
Yeah.
That will fit your long legs.
Right. And my whole network were boys. Right. And that's where I was. And I started taking on a lot of the masculine traits because that's where I was comfortable because I was accepted with the guys. Nobody said anything to me about being a big girl or whatever when I was hanging out with the boys. But the minute I started hanging out with the girls, it became a whole different story. It was pointed out that I wasn't like them. The fact that I'm sitting here with French tips today, like 14-year-old Erin back then would be like, she would want this for herself because she wanted to feel feminine, but she didn't think that she could because she didn't feel like that was a box that she could play in.
And isn't it interesting? You remember the moment.
Yeah.
When you hung out with the girls. Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that it's when we talk about family, because for me, mine was also a family member who pointed out to me that I was bigger than my brother and that I was going to be big like my father's side of the family at 10 years old. 10 years old. And like you said, the fact that I can tell you when it happened. And I did my first push-up in the back room because I thought that would help me lose weight because she told me I was going to be big.
You could probably, if you think hard about it enough, Candice, remember what you were wearing, remember everything. Yeah. Yep.
It's crazy. And like you said, it's a lifelong journey. We've been here however many years later, and the hurt is just as fresh as it was when it happened.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I can relate. I had a similar moment remembering not necessarily what was said, but what the actions around it. My mom has always been thin and it's never been a struggle for her. So she's never understood why I gravitate towards food, but food was always a reward. And I remember my grandparents would show me love by saying that I could have a slice of cake and they would go back and forth. My mom would end up, seceding and saying, okay. But when I was at my grandparents' house, it was like my mom, watching me thinking like, she shouldn't be eating that. She's getting bigger. And my grandparents saying, you can have it. We love you. You can have that extra slice of cake and giving me that love that way.
Yeah.
So, Andrea, when did you move? So for all of us, we know the moment when we started talking to ourselves without self-compassion. When was the moment for you that you remember a moment that was a catalyst of I need to speak better to myself and you started doing? Like, how did you make that transition? Because we hear from people frequently who are like, I can't get out of the negative pattern of how I speak to myself. How do I do that?
It's kind of like the decision to start the work, so I got so tired of having to be in that unrealistic realm, trying to shrink myself down to feel worthy of taking up space. I just got tired. And then I started asking, why can't I? But then don't forget too, then we got these cool people coming up. I'll never forget one of the big moments was when Tyra Banks had her talk show and she showed that edited version and the unedited version of herself, and there was inches added onto her waist, her booty, her hips, her thighs, her breasts, like everything. And she said, this is not real. This is not the real me that you see on this cover. And then we have the Ashley Grahams coming up, and that you see more people like us, right? And I'm like, why can't I just be myself? What is that even? And I think it just I just wanted to stop criticizing myself.
Yeah.
I just wanted to stop criticizing myself. I wanted to stop dissecting myself in the mirror. And yeah, I think that's it. But I also started questioning, the first time around, Weight Watchers, the whole, here's the chart, there's your goal weight, and Weight Watchers, we moved away from that. And I remember getting to that on our chart, close to yours, Erin, at 174 was the top for 5'10". And I remember the lowest I got was 169. And the other thing that frustrated me is I could never stand that Wonderland. Breaks my nerves. Yes, I'm happy for you if you get to 199.8 because you're trying to get to 149 or 180. But I'm like, why can't I have a 2? That's the first number on the scale. And then Layla Ali, another woman that I absolutely love. She's 5'10". She wears a size 11 shoe. She's 200 pounds. Sometimes she's 215. Sometimes she's 205. And all of this just started kind of coming together at the right time. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. It's kind of like I just woke up one day and said, I am going to choose to love me. And then the process started.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So when you had that I decided moment, what does that look like for you in practice? Like, what's a day of loving yourself? Kind of, how does that manifest?
Well, a day of loving yourself, the thing is about self-compassion, that's hard. And I think why sometimes we don't go there is because compassion asks us to go where it hurts. It asks us to go to the places of pain. And we all have pain, and it asks us to go to brokenness. And I think that's why sometimes I think all of us want to go there, but then we realize we have healing to do. And then we're like, nope, I'm good. I'm going to keep critiquing myself. I'm going to keep having that scale run my life, and I will shrink my body, and I'm going to chew lettuce, drink water, and walk 10,000 steps a day. Because I am not going there, but it's like, no, you got to go there. You got to go there. So that's where it starts. It kind of hurts first. It's not full of love at first. It hurts. Yeah.
What's a first step look like for somebody who's hearing this and thinking, okay, I'm willing to venture there? Is there a tool? Is there technique? Is there something that they should say to kind of start that? So I will give you a practical example. For me, when I first started with WW, I realized the way that I talked to myself in my head was not okay. And I needed to stop saying the things, it's the old, I would never say these to a friend. Therefore, I shouldn't be saying them to myself.
Yeah.
And I would envision myself on a merry-go-round, because every time I said that, that's all I did was I kept myself going around in circles on this merry-go-round. And I would visualize myself pulling the brake on the merry-go-round and actually hopping off and walking away. And every time that I would catch myself, you're so fat, you're so ugly, you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, you'll never conquer this. Every time I would visualize sitting on a horse on the merry-go-round, reaching over, pulling the brake, getting off and walking away, like that full thing every single time, to the point where I've not had to do that in years because I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. So, how we all just literally remembered a place of when this started, right? So we know, like, I remember, that place on the lawn. I remember my hair being in a ponytail. I remember the t-shirt, the shorts, and the sneakers I was wearing. There's a couple of different things. So one is going back to that place and literally being the friend to that young girl or young boy that you needed.
Yeah.
And be there for her. So when you have that moment, you all had that moment, Go back to that place. Write that girl a letter and tell her you didn't deserve to be told that. You didn't deserve to be treated like that. You are incredible. You are worth it. Your body is worth taking up space. There's no reason for you not to be who you are. Yeah. And really write that letter. There's power to pen and paper. Yeah. There is power to pen and paper. And write that girl that letter. You may even need to apologize to that girl. Who knows? But we've got to be that because that girl, that young version of us, that little girl, that little boy, I'm telling you, everybody, they are looking at us now going, you're rocking it. You're strong. You don't even realize what you're doing in this world. I bet you, all three of you, your little girl is like, do you have any idea the impact you have on everybody's lives? The people that you're touching, and then that person is just spreading, right? So why wouldn't you go back and tell that little girl, I'm here for you now, Yeah. The other one is, which is one that I did, is write a letter to your body. We've got to forgive ourselves for treating ourselves not nice. Here's the thing. In order to love who we are, we can't hate the experiences of what shaped us, right? We don't have to like them. We've been through some mess, but I can't stand that, I was the caregiver for my sister's last 15 months of her life. That is also shaped me for who I am now, So these moments shape us, but we spend so much time hating the experience, hating being name called, hating being this, that. We can't hate ourselves into love. So we've got to go back to self-compassion, is going back to the brokenness, back to the places of pain, back to the time I was on the bus and I was bullied, going back to those places and saying, Andrea, little 12-year-old Andrea, you didn't deserve it. What are we going to do about it now?
Yeah. Do you see any value in looking back at those positive things too? Like you probably, like me, have some moments where you have, like, I don't know, maybe high school pictures or things like that where you were in, better shape. And sometimes we use those as inspiration, but I feel like sometimes they do the opposite. Do you see any value in using those? Or do you think that things like that can be kind of a stumbling block?
I think in my personal opinion, I think it hurts us. I feel like, because it's like taking that pair of jeans that we had from 2 years ago. Let's hang them up in the closet. And I want to get into those jeans. But every single time you go into your closet, 1, 2, 3 times a day, you're looking at those jeans. All it's showing you is that you're not in them yet. I'm not there yet. Where are you trying to go? We're not going back. Yeah. So I think it hurts us. You will never see a then and now picture of me. Ever, 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 ever. Wow. Some people it motivates. But I'm who I am right now in this moment, just for today. And who knows how I'll be tomorrow. I don't want to go look at it. Yeah, that was cool. I had a great time in high school and I show my kids those pictures. But it's not motivating. Yeah. I think it hurts us because because you know why, Rikki? We're never going to look like that. We're not supposed to. And age and change is a gift. Yeah. To sit here and say I'm 47 and check out all the lines on my forehead and all this stuff, and I'm heavier than I was 3 years ago or 2. That's a wonderful thing. So it's back to that. Society wants us to go back there. They want us to live in the unrealistic realm. Why? Sells great skincare, sells clothing, sells marketing, sells don't eat this for 30 days and you'll lose 57 pounds. I was talking in a workshop the other day. It drove me nuts. I was looking for something. I have really oily skin. I'm like, I need a new moisturizer. Nothing's cutting it. And I see ageless skincare. I'm like, what is that? That doesn't even make sense, that word. Nothing is ageless. Like, what?
I see people who post pictures of their grandmother's hands and they're like, I love her hands, the lines, like they don't necessarily say the wrinkles, but you see the age in the hands and it's tender to them. I don't see a single person who puts they love the hands because they're smooth. These are hands that have loved them. And I think that's, same thing with bodies and faces.
Yeah. And when I went through, as we've shared on the podcast, I went through a breast cancer journey, and I'm really thinking about what you're saying, Andrea, about how I can't go back to the body that I had, whether it's because it's been surgically altered, it's gone through so much, but I've struggled, and I wonder what your perspective when you're hearing from members who are sharing in your workshop. I think for a lot of us, it's become a habit to have this self-loathing. Like it's just been something that we've done for so very long. And I want so much to protect that young Candice, like you said, and to say, but when I look in the mirror, my first thought is, what do I not like? What, why does my belly look like that? Look at the surgical scars. Oh, I have a port. I don't want to be in a picture. I don't want people to see my port scar. Things that should make me proud. To say I fought and I won. I want to hide because I'm used to that. So when you have members who are sharing with you, because you have your self compassion workshops have a lot of members who show up, and I hear a theme of that. I just can't stop with this self-loathing. What would you say to somebody like me? Because that's I want to be there, but I just don't quite know how to reframe it on a consistent basis.
It's that moving from self-criticism over to self-compassion. And that's what you've been doing for a long time. So it's being kind to yourself and knowing that there's no just flip. Self-compassion, I explain it in workshops too. It really is like a muscle. It's like, okay, I want to tone my arms, and my arms, I want them to be stronger. And then they get stronger. You don't just stop and they stay strong. We've got to keep using that muscle. So what it really is, it could be literally to renaming things, right? Like, okay, so for example, I'm covered in stretch marks from childbirth to weight loss to weight gain. So one day I just renamed them tiger stripes, because there's no stretch mark that's the same, and there's no tiger stripe that's the same. But Candice, this is where writing that letter to your body will help. Literally apologizing to your body. And then it moves into, when you write that letter and apologize for all the things you've said to it, it moves right into you forgiving yourself and moving into showing your body what it truly is, that it's your only one. It's amazing. It has healed you through cancer. I mean, it goes from criticism to compassion, and you saying, body, thank you for healing me. Thank you for carrying me through this world, being being friends with Rikki and Erin, for just talking to so many people. It just slowly moves over. Doesn't mean we don't judge photos. We don't look in the mirror and say, oh my gosh, no, but we don't let it live there. We just talk back. We start talking back to them. We say, no, I'm not doing that today. I'm going to love my body. But it starts with, I think there's a power in forgiving ourselves. We hold on to the things we've said, and we think we can't go to the other place, from criticism to compassion. Yeah.
Andrea, I know that you had mentioned a little bit ago that you had written yourself that letter, and I know that you shared it in your workshops. Would you be willing to share that now with us?
Okay. Where'd I throw those tissue boxes before that I hid from the camera? So yes, and this is why my parents say date everything, and I never dated it. But I can tell you, I've been a coach for 6 years, and I wrote this before I became a Weight Watcher coach. Okay. So this I'm thinking I'll be how old am I? I'll be 47 in July. I'm guessing I was about 38 when I wrote this letter. Okay. That's kind of when things really started coming around, and I was over criticizing myself. There's a time where we choose. This is the other part too. We've got to know that we have the power to stop it. That really is our superpower. And when you choose to stop analyzing and evaluating yourself and comparing yourself to others. That's another piece too. See, there's so many pieces to it, but we analyze ourselves, we evaluate, we compare, and we do all these things that help us in absolutely no way possible. So there was something I read somewhere that said to do this. So it's basically an apology letter. I think this is probably the third or fourth time I've ever read it. Okay. So, okay, now.
I kind of say, like, I feel so honored right now. I feel like I've just asked somebody who wrote a book.
Look at my journal.
Yes. And I'm like, would you just read a chapter, just 2 pages?
Oh my gosh.
Let us in. Please let us in.
My hands are tingling. And who knows how it'll go. And if I can read it, I'm a lefty and my handwriting's a little weird. All right. So
too. You're a good person. Sorry.
Dear body, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all of the times I picked you apart. I have been mean when all you have done is carry me, held me, carried my kids into this world, my greatest loves. I have tried to rub lotion on you to make you disappear. All those scars, the proof how strong you are. I have become mean and bullied you. When I feel our legs rub together, when I sit and feel our stomach roll, when our arms jiggle when I wave, none of this was okay to do to you. I have looked in the mirror and pushed you down under my bra strap, when all you were doing is holding me up, because body, our core is strong. I am also sorry for every time I have compared you to other bodies, wishing you away so I can have what they have. As of this moment, I do not want what they have. I want you. So body, those days are done. I have put them down. As of this moment, I will cherish you. Walk tall. Every time I feel you and see you, I will remind you how strong and beautiful you are. I will never wish you away or compare you to others, because I want you. Your face, your hair, your hands and feet, your arms and legs, your skin, fat, muscles, and bones. Dear body, I want all of you, completely. Let's continue to laugh, love, hug, and spread kindness and dance. I am so sorry. I love you. Love me. P.S. You have done nothing wrong. It was all me. And today, and from now on, I choose to celebrate you. And I even put on there #Tiger Stripes.
That is so beautiful. Thank you for doing that.
I even have Dear Body on the envelope. Oh, I love it. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing.
That was a big changing point.
Thank you. Well, thank you for doing that many years ago, and having the boldness to do that for yourself then, and the boldness to share it now, because you've just given someone framework with which to operate, where they've never had a place to begin. And this has just helped someone. Many people know where to start having compassion towards themselves and journeying towards freedom. I think that's the thing all of us want. We all start with losing weight because we think losing the weight will give us the freedom that we desire. And weight isn't the problem.
Nope.
Weight is a symptom of the deeper things. Food is often the thing we use to soothe ourselves or make ourselves feel better. But what are we trying to heal from?
Yep.
And to your point earlier about being honest about that and being willing to sit in it and address what are the things that we use food as the balm to. If hunger isn't the problem, food isn't the solution.
Yep.
And
never the food.
And being honest with ourselves on that is just huge.
And I think we've got to honor our feelings.
Yeah.
Honor your insecurities. I mean, approve of you now. Because if you try to wait until you get to a certain number on the scale, fit into a certain pair of pants, or walk or get into run that 5K, it won't work. It won't work. Many of us have tried it,
And I think the part, in your letter that always gets me, it got me the first time I ever heard you read it was, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
I think
There's something, I don't want to get Goodwill Hunting. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, where Robin Williams is like telling Matt Damon, like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Just the tears, but that's how I feel. Because I think for a long time, it's just, you blame yourself and you don't give yourself that grace that we so freely give to others.
Yep.
But we can't internalize it.
And I think other people oversimplify it too. I mean, if you take any second to go on social media and see people who post who do have, different bodies or overweight bodies, people say, oh, it's just calories in, calories out. Oh, you're lazy. Oh, you're, you just need to move. You need to get up and go right. People oversimplify what it means to be healthy and how to get there. And it's so easy to listen to those external voices, but
and healthy is not small.
That was not my stomach, by the way. I have a voracious appetite, but that wasn't it.
I know she was going to do it. Nala is the A-Team workshop mascot. And I told her before we came up here that she is not allowed to make an appearance. And that is her saying, oh, I will make an appearance.
Andrea, if it weren't your dog, it would be my son. He just came in. So it's going to be either my 4-year-old or the dog. Okay.
Yep. So of course. And there's nothing. Oh my gosh. And so it's back to that thing too of how about we write our own story? How about we stop looking for the reason we don't accept ourselves is because we're looking to everybody else for acceptance when we don't even look at ourselves. We're the only ones we should be looking for acceptance. We're looking to our parents or our siblings or social media or, the teacher or the coach. That's not the place to look for acceptance. Look for it for you. Accept yourself. Because what happens is when we accept ourselves, the other opinions and the things that happen and are said, because they will be said, it just doesn't matter as much. And then your real people, the people that love you for you, they're just there and they're rooting you on. But until we flip this around, it's no weight loss, no size, no anything is going to get you anywhere. And health is about you being compassionate with yourself, loving yourself, and letting your body lead. With too much headspace over here, body's over here. You're trying to tell your body where to go. And that's not the way to do it. Let your body lead you. I don't like goal weights. Don't like them because how can you, there's no such thing as permanent weight loss. There's no such thing. That's why I love that Weight Watchers, we're moving away from, we don't really, you walk into a studio, you're not really asked if they're about a goal weight, you can do, and I don't like that because when you get to that goal weight, anytime you gain weight, you're irritated. You're frustrated. And I gained 45 pounds, Karen, for my sister. And then after she passed away, I gained another 15. That was in 2020. Mm-hmm. If I wasn't in this realm that I am now, I wouldn't be okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. And I'd add to my letter, thank you for carrying my sister, bathing her for the last 15 months of her life. My body did that. So I accept it. I respect it. And it's not up to anybody else to respect it or stay over there then. We've got to we've got to be okay with ourselves and know that we're not supposed to be like anybody else. If two of us were the same, one of us wouldn't be necessary. There's just no reason for the other person. We're supposed to be our own. And that comes in all shapes and sizes.
The question that I just kind of like thought in my head as you were talking is, especially looking now for the future, for anybody that's listening, what do I want for me? Not, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want this. What do I want for me for my future? I want to be strong. I want to be able to care for somebody the way that you cared for your sister. I want to be able to have that strength and endurance. So what are the things that I need to do for myself to get me to a place, where I love me completely? I don't have any qualms about myself. And that doesn't mean the tummy rolls have to go necessarily, right? It's, okay, I've got this. And that's what it is right now. Well, guess what? The kids love to bounce on them. Okay, great. It's kind of finding that space. So let me ask you, when you think about your future, what do you want for yourself? What do you see for yourself, Andrea?
I always want to stay present. I don't want to, what's going to be tomorrow, what happened yesterday. I always want to stay present. I want to, always want to ask myself, Andrea, what do you need? Because when I'm exhausted or I'm overwhelmed or I'm worrying about everybody, I've got 2 kids that put on uniforms and serve. I'm constantly in a state of worry and what's going on. I want to stay present, and I want to sit and I want to feel those feelings and know that my feelings are valid. And I want to respect my body. I want to fuel it. I want to stop when I'm full, because I'm a finisher. Oh, I love food. I'm a finisher. It's in the bowl. I'm going, but I want to stop when my body says, Andrea, enough, because I can literally make myself sick because it's so good.
It's all there.
Yeah.
You are amongst friends. We understand.
Right. And you don't want children in another country being hungry because you didn't finish all your food either.
Yeah. You can't let the kids starve.
Right.
India. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to stay present. I want to honor my feelings. I want to, if I'm, I want to feel the feels. I want to continue that. And I think with the headspace, when our headspace is strong, we can work on our body.
Yeah.
We can then, I think that's to keep it together, because when we stay present and we're focused and we're listening to our body, we'll know when it wants to move. We'll know when it's hungry. We'll know when it's tired. We know when it's just, I need to go to bed 2 hours early today. And I've done it. There's times where I wake up. I had no idea the whole day I was going to miss my sister that much. That's exhausting. I had no idea I was going to wake up one day and just have this pit in my stomach and worry about my kids, and that can be tiring sometimes. So it's like, okay, let's respect my body. Let's get the rest we need, hydrate, all those things. That was a big answer, Erin.
No, I love that, because that also gives context for somebody when they're thinking through. I think sometimes we oversimplify things, and being able to show, okay, what does this look like? That not every day is going to be the same. Not everything's going to be cookie cutter. And you touched on the many prongs of the mental, the physical, the food, the sleep, all the things that WW has been, showing us through the pillars. And it's not just this one little thing like it used to be. We're always hyper focused. And to Rikki's point about the oversimplification, just cut your calories and
and lose weight. And we got to think too, where I am now, I'm good with the scale, because I know that's a big deal for everybody. And I think it's something we've got to keep talking about, because that's one thing I'll tell anybody in a workshop is, when I'm asked, how do you get to that point? How do you do this? I want you to own your weight. Say it out loud. I like being like 215, 210. I weigh myself every day because I like to see how my body is. Oh, I ate Chinese. I'm up 5 pounds. I weighed today. I'm 250 pounds. And now when my sister got sick, I was 235. my body, my feet hurt sometimes if I'm walking, my body talks to me. So I'm like, let's go. Let's kind of get back to that 235. Let's go ahead, see where we're at. So there's not about never working on your weight either, because I gained weight. I went through a tragedy, and that 235, I felt really good, but I'm not going to be like 200, 215. I like being 200, 215, but right now I'm like, let's see where we get when we hit that 240. Maybe we can get to that 235, but there's no rush. I'm going to love my body to it. I'm going to fuel my body properly. And, because I was all the way back up to 270, it's tough. And now it's okay, 250, but no matter what, I just always feel good.
But I think that goes back to something that a big takeaway that I am hearing and trying to receive is, you've heard people say, be careful what you say to yourself because you are listening. The power of, you're very intentional about what you're speaking out loud and what you're saying. And I think that we don't always take that care. We don't always realize that negative loop that's going on in our mind that we then say out loud. Even if we say we're joking, we're hearing that. So I'm trying to challenge myself to, it's okay, to say it's fine. Doesn't mean that I'm excusing myself from working on things, or that I don't say, okay, it feels good to move my body and get on the bike or do whatever, but I'm not going to be that enemy to myself. I'm not going to berate myself when really what I need is that self-compassion, that love. And that starts with what you speak, because I love how you say, and you the way that you express it, I believe you, that you really, truly feel that way. You're like, it is what it is, and we can move forward. That's freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't want to be judged, right? We're human. No. But when you own things, you say, if I'm 250 pounds, oh, that's heavy. That's a fact. Yes. I can't pick up 250 pounds. Thank you for stating the fact. I don't know what to tell you. 250 pounds is heavy. Right. I'm always going to be heavy. Thank you. Like, I don't know where you want to go with that. Right. And Erin too, it's like big. I want all of us who are big to take that word back. I am big. And you know what, when I said that in a workshop, and this is for all of us, we have a big presence in people's lives. We have big personalities. We have big, fabulous hugs. I can just imagine, right? Us just, we are big laughs. We're big. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's nothing wrong with that.
I wish I could go back. As you've been saying, like, I wish I could go back to the little me and go, they just called you Big Mama. Yeah, I know they just called you that. Girl, if you only knew what God had in store for you, you're big for a reason, and you have a big personality, and you have a big voice, and God's going to use that and extend. It's intentional. You can't hide, and you're never going to hide as much as you want to hide at times. That's just not going to be possible. And that's a great thing. And the sooner that you embrace that, I stand taller. Like, I finally have started to own it. You would be proud of me, Andrea, because somebody did call me big recently. And I said, you say that like it's a bad thing. And I laughed at him.
And you just told that little girl, you just did the work.
Yeah.
As you're doing it, you're all thinking, okay, I'm going to tell that little girl, you have no idea how this big, tall body is going to do in this world. Yep.
Right. And that you're bossy. You're like, bossy. It's called get things done today. It's called a project manager. It's called.
You do the head roll with it first of all.
Right. First of all, what we're not going to do is.
They're all words, and we can't control what other people say to us, but we can control our response.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of us trip up, though. Yeah. Is I think because it hurts when that comes, it stings so much because it hit that soft place for us that we don't have a response formulated. because of the tenderness of that. And to your point about when we get to the place where we own it and we love it, we love ourselves or love those things about us, when people try to weaponize those things, they don't hurt anymore. But in order to get to that place, we have to sit in it we have to feel it.
And, it's also too, there's still things that'll sting. There's still things that sting. That's where we need our people. We need our people. And I think that's where the workshops come into play, where if somebody just said something to us and we come in and we talk about it in a workshop, we all get it, right? Like we all get it. We've been through very similar things. So we understand each other. This is where you need your people, because there are going to be the stings. But when you don't like something, and it's a lot of things that are lingering, take away its only power, which is your attention. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to certain words, something like that, just take away. You got to take your attention away from it. And it is also the self-compassion, because when you're so compassionate with yourself and you start just loving you and all that you've gone through and all that this amazing body does, and that you literally stand in front of the mirror and you love that person so much who has been through so much, nobody can take that from you. Nobody can. Doesn't mean it'll hurt sometimes, but have your people, talk about it, listen to awesome music, all the things, and but it's back to, it never ends. It's always little things every day. Little things every day.
My gosh, what a perfect way to end this conversation.
This is the Real Talk with WW, our first 3-hour-long podcast.
Yeah. No, I just feel like I've had the most amazing therapy right now.
Right? You see why I go to our meetings. I'm like, I need a therapy session. Hold on. She has how many
Let's see where Andrea is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's 15 hands up for a reason. You're very good at it too. She's like, hold on one more second. There you go. We got another share.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Well, Andrea, if people want to join your self-compassion workshops or any of your workshops as a WW coach, how can they do that?
So you need that premium membership, of course, and then go to that Find a Studio, type in Andrea, my schedule will pop up. You can go to Connect and join WW Andrea M, Coach Andrea M. My whole schedule's in my Connect group. But I think I'm only off Friday and Saturday, so I'm there every other day. You'll find me. I am
5:30 in the morning, y'all.
Thursday.
Yeah,
I am there. But yeah, find a workshop, search Andrea, you'll find me. And then Instagram. I love Instagram. I'm not on Facebook, but that hashtag, transparent _ Andrea. Transparent _ Andrea on Instagram. I share a lot of my Weight Watcher schedule and stuff in there too.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I just can't stop smiling. This is great.
We can't wait. Well, thank you again. We're just so honored. I feel like some people heard some things that they needed to hear and process and begin a journey of healing. It really, I think for every one of us here, we just want to see people live in freedom, ourselves included. And that's a daily journey, but the work has to start somewhere. And so maybe today's day one for you, where you're like, okay, I'm going to pull the brake on the merry-go-round and get off. And I'm going to go write that Dear Body letter to myself. Would love for you to do that. And listen, if there's we talk about our Real WW Talk Facebook group as being a safe place. It really is this wonderful safe place. If you want to share your Dear Body letter with us, we would be so honored by that. Or you want to share a portion, or just maybe something that you are struggling with that you could use someone to help pour some confidence into you, by all means, come do that in the Real WW Talk Facebook group. We'd just be honored to have you there. And of course, you can find us on Instagram. We're on YouTube. If you want to send us an email, you can do that at realwwtalk@gmail.com. And we thank you for joining us on today's Real WW Talk plus.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
Yes,
Thank you, Erin, Rikki, and Candice. This has been so fun. Thank you. So glad I know you all.
Yay. All right. We'll see you all next time.